Please video like and subscribe this channel. The first time I saw her, she was sitting alone on the edge of a crater, staring at the swirling gases that formed the planet's ever-changing skies. Her skin shimmered like molten silver under the light of 3 suns, and her eyes, deep pools of iridescent green, followed me with a mixture of curiosity and guarded caution. She didn't speak, only observed, as though weighing my presence carefully. Her name was Lyris, though no one had ever dared to call her that aloud. She was the last of her kind, a member of a race of alien women who had once ruled the world of Toanen with unmatched wisdom and authority. Stories whispered through the colonies told of her intellect, her beauty, and her ruthlessness. But what I found in the crater was not a ruler plotting conquest, but a solitary figure lost in grief. I had come to Toanen as part of a humanitarian mission, tasked with assessing environmental collapse caused by centuries of unchecked industrial expansion. But from the moment I arrived, it became clear that this was not a simple survey. The planet, like its last daughter, was dying. The first days were tense. Lyris refused all interaction, retreating into her own thoughts whenever I approached. Her body radiated an energy unlike any I had felt before, a low hum that seemed to resonate with the planet itself. Scientists from the mission speculated that it was a form of biogenic feedback, a natural amplification of emotional states, but I suspected something deeper. She was attuned to the world in a way that humans could not comprehend. It wasn't until a small group of children wandered near the crater that the first breakthrough occurred. They were the descendants of settlers who had colonized Toanen decades ago. Humans, young and fearless, their curiosity unbound by fear of legends. One small boy, no more than 7, had wandered too close to the edge and stopped abruptly, staring up at Lyris with wide eyes. "You're really shiny," he said simply. The comment was so ordinary, so innocent, that it seemed almost absurd. Yet I saw it happen. Her body stiffened, and for the first time, she turned fully toward a human presence without hesitation. "I shine," she murmured, her voice a musical whisper carried by the wind. The child nodded, oblivious to the gravity of his words. "Yeah, like the stars." Something shifted in her then, subtle at first, a tilt of the head, a flicker of warmth in her eyes. She spoke no more that day, but she did not retreat. She allowed us to approach, and for the first time, she let me measure the pulse of her presence without fear. Over the next weeks, I learned to communicate with her. At first, it was gestures, simple exchanges of food and water, small acts that required no words. Lyris responded with slow, deliberate movements, each interaction a test of trust. She rarely spoke, but when she did, it was in fragments. Single words, phrases, questions about the world, the children, the sky, and eventually, about me. "You, human," she said one evening as we watched the setting suns. "Why are here?" I explained our mission, the environmental collapse, the need for assessment and aid. She listened, her luminous eyes reflecting the fading light. I could see her mind working, cataloging, analyzing, but also hesitating. The grief of her species near extinction hung over her like a storm cloud. "It is broken," she admitted finally, voice trembling. "All gone." I shook my head. "Not all. You are still here. That's something." Her gaze lingered on mine, and for the first time, a flicker of emotion broke through the veil of mourning, a spark of connection. The turning point came unexpectedly. One morning, as I was examining soil samples near the crater, the children returned, laughing and chasing small, bioluminescent creatures that flitted through the air. Lyris observed quietly from a distance, her posture tense, yet drawn inexplicably toward their play. The smallest girl, no older than 5, approached Lyris cautiously. She extended a hand, holding a glowing orb-like creature she had caught. "Do you want to hold it?" she asked innocently. Lyris froze, then slowly knelt, extending her long fingers toward the child's offering. The creature pulsed softly in her hand, illuminating the delicate curves of her face. She whispered something soft, almost inaudible, then allowed a faint smile to touch her lips. The simplicity of the gesture, the pure, unassuming kindness of a child, had broken something inside her. The walls she had built around herself for decades began to crumble. She began to turn, slowly at first, toward the humans around her, observing us not as potential threats, but as beings she could understand, perhaps even trust. As the days passed, her transformation accelerated. She engaged with us in more meaningful ways, asking questions about our lives, our world, and our mission. She participated in efforts to rehabilitate the planet, offering guidance that merged her alien biology with our technology. Together, we reintroduced native flora, stabilized failing ecosystems, and began to restore balance to TONN. And through it all, the children remained her greatest teachers. Their simple comments, their unguarded curiosity, revealed facets of her personality that she had long forgotten: compassion, playfulness, and the capacity for joy. "You laugh?" she asked one afternoon, pointing to a child spinning in the dirt, laughing at nothing in particular. "Yes," I said with a grin. "Sometimes you just have to." Her eyes glimmered. She attempted it herself, a sound somewhere between a hum and a trill, unpracticed yet genuine. It startled us all, including her. Despite the progress, danger lingered. TONN's collapse had attracted scavengers and opportunists from across the stars, drawn by rumors of abandoned resources and the power inherent in an alien who could control the planet's unique biogenetic energies. We had to fortify settlements, train locals, and prepare defenses, all under the watchful eyes of Lyris, who now moved among us with cautious authority. I found that her turning toward humanity was not only emotional but practical. She began to strategize, to advise, and to act as a bridge between her planet's latent powers and the newcomers. I worked alongside her, facilitating cooperation, sometimes stepping in to offer human perspectives that complemented her instincts. The pivotal moment came during a raid. A band of interstellar mercenaries attacked one of the newly rehabilitated settlements, seeking to capture Lyris and exploit her abilities. Panic rippled through the human settlers, but she acted with a precision and decisiveness that was terrifying in its efficiency. Energy fields flared from her hands, protective barriers enveloped the settlement, and the attackers were repelled without a single casualty. After the threat was neutralized, she turned to me, truly turned, in a way that went beyond observation or curiosity. Her eyes, luminous and unshielded, met mine. "You were right," she said softly. "Trust. Connection. Not weakness, but strength." I nodded, understanding the gravity of the moment. Her transformation was complete. A being who had once withdrawn from the universe, who had mourned her species into isolation, had learned to turn toward life, toward others, and toward hope, all because of a simple comment from a child. In the weeks that followed, Lyris assumed her role not as a ruler in solitude, but as a leader among allies. She addressed human settlers, collaborated with scientists, and even began teaching the children to understand the unique biology of TONN. The planet, once on the brink of ruin, began to flourish, guided by her insight and the cooperative efforts she now embraced. She often sought me out, and our conversations shifted from observation and care to strategy and even quiet companionship. "You have changed me," she admitted one evening, as we stood watching the alien sunset behind crystalline mountains. "You were already capable," I said softly. "You just needed someone to remind you." Her smile, this time genuine and unguarded, glimmered like starlight. "And you did that, simply by being here." Years passed. TONN slowly healed, its ecosystems thriving under combined human and alien stewardship. Lyris became not only a guardian of her planet but a bridge between two worlds. And the story of the alien woman who had once mourned alone, slowly turning because of the innocence and insight of a child, became a legend among settlers and natives alike. I never forgot the moment, the simple, unassuming words that sparked the change. It was a reminder that sometimes, the smallest gestures, the softest voices, can alter destinies more profoundly than any weapon, strategy, or decree. And for Lyris, the last of her kind, that simple comment had been enough to awaken her fully to life, connection, and the possibility of hope.